Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever Power in Every Size podcast. Today here I have Shelley Larson, aka Shake It Shell.
What's up, everyone? What's up?
Not only is she a dance fitness icon here in Southern Utah, she is my mom. Hi mama, how you doing?
Again, what's up, everybody? What's up?
Awesome. So Shake It Shell has a class here in Southern Utah called Shake It. It's a totally fun, judgment-free class. It's here at Hive Therapy at 42 South River Road. So
And it is a gym. It is a gym.
Yeah, it's a gym. It's everything, right?
It's a gym. I love it.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So, Shelley, tell us how you got into dance and fitness.
A lot of people ask me all the time, oh, you must have grown up dancing. You must have grown up dancing. And the truth is I did not. I was the kid who you would drive by the street, grew up in Southern California, and me and my friends and sisters are out there choreographing. And we just had a love for dance and a love for movement and hip hop and all that fun stuff. I grew up with Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, all the girls who represented back in the day, Paula Abdul, things like that. And I just had such a love. I didn't have any training, but I just, like I said, I grew up with family who had a deep love for music. So music was in the home. And then fast forward, fitness, I've always kind of been mindful of fitness, but putting fitness and dancing together, that came in my later years as a mom.
Yeah. So I heard in your childhood you had a nickname.
Which one?
The one that you were on the newspaper.
Oh, I didn't have a nickname. So when I was little, the only dancing I had, I was 5 years old, and I took tap and ballet. And I was featured on the front page of the High Desert. I'm from Southern California, the High Desert newspaper, with my little stance and my ballet position. But my name was Dee Dee Valenzuela. And so my mom was like, look, you're in the paper, but you're Dee Dee Valenzuela. So I didn't know if they got the wrong girl or the wrong picture, but there I was, front page, and that was pretty cool. But other than that, like I said, I haven't had any dancing, but my mom calls me Dee Dee. So
I'm surprised that was never a full nickname for you.
No, no. But yeah, it's funny. My mom still has a clipping. It's literally like yellow because it's only, 42 years old.
Awesome. So you went from the passion of dancing and music straight into dance fitness. So tell us a little bit about how you got introduced to Zumba.
Well, I didn't know what Zumba was. I actually received a text from my sister in 2009, and she put a text out to, like, a group text to 10 people asking, like, who wanted to come and do Zumba. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Is this like African dancing? Like, what is this? But I was the only one who showed up. So there was my sister and I. And mind you, I had just had I had just moved back to Southern Utah from New Mexico, which was absolutely horrible for me. It literally affected me in every way I could think of. I came back depressed, which I usually don't suffer with that. I came back the biggest I had ever been. I had lost my spark, my smile, and I was just having a really hard time. So I was like, why not? Why not go check this out? And so we showed up, and it was at Results Fitness when Results was a gym here in Southern Utah years ago. And we're all standing around. I didn't know what was going on. What are we doing here? And this girl, she's probably about 6 foot, cheerleader looking girl, like, let's go, everybody. And hits play on the music. And I was like, hey, let's go. Like, what is this? And I took my first class and I fell in love. Immediately fell in love with what I saw and what I was a part of.
Awesome. So what got you into the teaching? So how did that come to be?
Well, I was minding my own business like I
you
always do. Anyways, I was minding my own business like I always do. And I just started showing up. I was 220 pounds. I was the biggest I had ever been. I would gasp for air as I'm trying to dance and keep up. But I was not the person who sat in the back row. I was a person who I wanted to be front and center. I wanted to be in the front. And I just started going every single day, 5 days a week. And the teacher was actually leaving on vacation. And she came up to me and said, I wish you could sub my class. And I looked at her. I'm like, sub your class, me? And she's like, yeah, you're here all the time. People like you. You've got great energy and you know my stuff. And I looked at her. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So she said, let's go ask the owners. The owners were there locally. And she presented it to the owners. And the owners are like, looked at me. They're like, absolutely. So I was asked to sub. I went and called my sister because she kind of quit coming. She started doing her own thing. But I became very faithful and very regular to the point where I had shin splints. I was 220 pounds. Dancing, had shin splints. I would army crawl because I would be in so much pain, but I kept showing up for myself. And I said, guess what? And she says, what? I said, we were asked to sub a class. And she says, who's we? I said, you and me. And so I brought her along on the ride. We actually choreographed a song, and we were just going to sub that one time. And we did that one class, and we were offered a full-time position right after the class.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so many people went and reported how much they loved it. So it was pretty awesome.
So from there, you went from teaching one class to how many?
I went from teaching one class. I was actually given the night class because the instructor, we won't go there, but the instructor, she ended up resigning. The night instructor did. And I went from one class of 11 to 11 classes a week of 50 plus, where people would line up out the door just to get a spot. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it was quick. We grew it real quick.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember being there a little bit for that.
Yeah, you were actually there a lot.
I was there a lot.
Let's be real.
I think I was along for the journey with you and Heidi, you know.
Oh, you were there.
So
you
for
you
sure.
girls were all there.
So, speaking of that, so you went from results. Now, how did you go from the classes and results to Fuego House of Dance?
I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Fuego.
But, yeah, right? Which means fire. House of
The
fire.
roof is on fire.
Fire! Anyways, but we were at results for 9 months, and our classes got so big. We were tripling back to back to back to accommodate all the people who kept showing up. And the news of real women, you know, on the journey, you know, out there teaching, people wanted to see this. People wanted to be a part of this. People were inviting their friends, and we had actually talked to the owners and asked if they could accommodate how big the classes were getting. People literally were like sardines. They were, you know, sardines, but no one left. No one left. People would just come early. You would have a line, like, it's like, what's this line for? You know, is it for snacks or something? And then it's like, no, it's for class. And once the owners, you know, weren't really willing to accommodate how fast the growth was, because they didn't see it coming, we had someone who came up to us and said, you girls are gold. You're gold. You need your own place. And so she helped us look for a place. She actually sponsored our first place. And that's where Fuego House of Dance started. And we went from, you know, one class of 11 people to pulling 80 to 100 a night.
Yeah, I remember the final days and results, how little everyone's steps would be, but everyone wanted to get down so bad.
Oh yeah. We had so much fun, but we were stacked deep in there. But like I said, no one left. It was so fun. Those were some of the best years of my life, really, honestly.
So when you went to Fuego, you only had Zumba. So how did Fuego grow, and what are some of the accomplishments that you and your sister or Fuego had? Like what happened, what accomplishments, what opportunities were presented for you guys?
I think the biggest thing we accomplished was actually we were women on the journey with so many other men and women there. We had some of the biggest male followings this town had. We had 30 plus men showing up, and these men were coming to dance. Accomplishments were watching people grow, watching people get healthy, watching people get out of their box, watching people do things that make them really, really uncomfortable, and watching them come, oh my gosh, I can move my hips. Oh my gosh, my pants are so baggy. Oh my gosh, I feel so good. Oh my gosh, my husband or my wife were like, dang, you seem different. You look different. So that's an accomplishment when you watch other people grow. That was such a huge thing. As a personal accomplishment, I lost 75 pounds just dancing, literally just dancing. And so that was huge for me to see that and be a part of it, because I was on the journey as well. So it was. But when it came to community, we were offered so many things to be a part of, whether Cinco de Mayo, 4th of July parade. We were the first instructors at the Biggest Loser Resort. We were like, the camera crew was there. Like, it was so awesome. Part of Ironman, part of Relay for Life, taught at schools, after school programs, high schools, middle schools. We were hired for, like I said, at private schools and their programs of after school. I mean, we did so many things. Parties in pink, that we in the community, anything in the community we could be a part of, we would, and we brought everybody with us. It was an amazing ride, and I'm not even touching a fraction of what we did here in the community and for the community.
Mm-hmm. I remember Cinco de Mayo every year.
Girl, we got down on Cinco de Mayo.
Everyone tried to talk to me in Spanish. I'm like,
my hips don't lie.
So, what other classes did Fuego House of Dance have besides Zumba?
When we started, my sister and I decided we wanted a full house of dance, like a house of dance. And we were actually blessed with the biggest dance floor in southern Utah. We had 2,400 square feet of loaded spring dance floor, literally a huge studio. And so my sister and I decided we would teach Zumba. We had jazz, tap, ballet, hip hop. We had pole dancing, hula dancing. We had so many different styles of dancing. We had acting. We had, I'm trying to think what else we had.
Cheer.
Oh, cheer. We just had so many things, but we were able to offer people employment. We were able to offer people a place that was affordable. And then our kids competed. We did everything. We performed at the mall. We did so many, Lagoon. We did so many things. National Dance Days, just like really wanted to be a part of the community and brought people along with us to have that experience.
Yeah, so after all of that high of Fuego, what happened that led you to take a break from Fuego?
I think the biggest thing is we rode the Zumba wave when it came out. We rode the wave. I mean, we was on that wave, hitting that big wave, and we rode it. It was the coolest, funnest experience I've ever had in my life. And like I said, we brought thousands with us. And I think the economy, it started changing. The love of Zumba started changing. Things are fads. And I think it started like really, really slowing down. And when it came to a point of making it make sense, it didn't really make sense anymore to have that big a space. So we actually decided to downsize, and things were kind of going on personally in our lives. And so we're just like, okay, there was a lot. I don't want to say it consumed us, because I ate, slept, and drank it. So maybe it did.
Yeah.
I was always choreographing in my head, or always, I was always, like I said, I ate, slept, and drank it, because that's where I found myself again. I was somebody's mom. I was somebody's daughter. I was somebody's wife. But guess what? I was Shelley. And Shelley wanted to do big things. And Shelley wanted to bring everybody along. And Shelley wanted to give people a place to feel and be themselves. And so you can say it consumed me. You can have good addictions. Absolutely. Good addiction. So we just needed to downsize. We tried to downsize and it didn't work. So we literally, my sister and I parted ways after team teaching together, I think, for 8 years.
Yeah. And you say you hung up your dance shoes for a while.
I hung up my dance shoes. I went to a few other places, like a couple other gyms. It just wasn't the same not having my sister next to me. She did her own thing. I did my own thing. And I just decided to hang them up. And I literally went into hiding. Yeah. I went into hiding for like 8 years. Hung up my shoes. You know how you like tie them and throw them over the
over the wire, the electrical wire.
Yeah, I hung them up. My dance shoes. Those things had some miles and some memories and experience, and I threw them in the air like I didn't care, and hung them up.
Yeah. So then, going from that time period, when did Shake It get formed? How did Shake It get formed?
Well, again, 8 years, I kind of went into hiding. I would occasionally pop up at different classes, and people are like, oh my gosh, Shelley, because I wanted to dance. I wanted to stay fit. I wanted to keep healthy, and I hated treadmill. I hated, stuff like that. My love, my passion to exercise was dancing. And so actually when I was actually asked if I would be willing to do a bachelorette party for a friend. I was minding my own businesses like I always do. And my friend said, hey, if I were to pay you, would you come do a bachelorette party for us? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, what do you mean? Like, dude, you want me to show up and be like no, 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 no. Like, we want you to come and like teach a class. So I said, absolutely. And so I went to teach a class. I took my, my portable speaker with me, and I took my daughter, Malia. Say hi, Malia.
What's up?
I took her, and we taught a class, and we did some choreography for the surprise bride, dance. And I don't know what happened there, but somebody just lit me back up like the first time. It was insane. It was insane.
And I remember within like a short amount of time, we got you a space. We got you, just everything you needed to get ready to get started up again.
And you know what's crazy though? When you teach dance fitness, it's not like a normal business where you need tons of stuff. Yes, you need to find dance space, but you are the product.
Yeah.
It's you. You need a good pair of dance shoes. You need some stretchy pants, right? You need something that you can move around in. And you show up and you're the product. And I think I actually went home that day and got on social media. I said, hey, if I were to come out of retirement, if I were to start teaching again, who would be interested? And it just flooded. Like, oh my gosh. But I wasn't coming back as Fuego. It didn't feel right coming back as Fuego without my sister, because that was something we had built.
Yeah.
And so I was just tossing and turning. I'm like, shake it, Shell, because of course I'm Shelley. Let's shake it.
Yeah.
We shake it.
Yeah. We shake it.
Yeah. So
shake it real good.
But yeah, we found a space. The first space didn't work, and then you started calling because you knew the frantic I was in. After I'd put out flyers, hey, this is a location, and you found me a space, and the space was beautiful. It was it was meant to be.
It was so meant to be, and she had worked with you guys previously for a short amount of time.
She had, and so she's like, absolutely. So we were able to transfer all the classes that we had just came out and told everybody, hey, guess who's back? And so we're able to get those going and get people showing up. And it's like so many people. I think the biggest thing is like, they're like, my life changed after you guys quit teaching. My life, my friend group, my health, everything changed. And so I don't want to say there was a guilt, but when you help that many people, when you're a public figure, when you dedicate your life to helping other people, and you quit doing what you're passionate about, and you quit doing what you love, it does affect other people.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say there were selfish reasons I quit, but not quit, but hung my shoes, threw them up there. But I really was able to see how many people we did really touch, because we were just being us.
Yeah.
We were just showing up. Hey, push play, hit the music. Let's freaking go. And like a club to us, but it was so much deeper and bigger.
Yeah.
And I really got to see the effect of that after, if you will.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now that Shake It's formed, describe what makes Shake It so special and so unique.
I think the biggest thing, again, is like, I'm on the journey. I've been on the journey, everything's not about weight, but I struggled with my weight. I remember when I went to get certified, I was 220 pounds, and I was actually trying to talk to the girl about some insecurities I had about standing in front of a class, not feeling at the moment my best, having a love for dancing, having a love for music. And she looked at me and crossed her arms. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't relate, but I bet it's hard.
Can't relate.
But I was like, and that just made me have a whole different love. Take it a whole different thing of like, I'm on the journey. This is me. This is real. We had posters hanging of us, at our highest weight, and my button screaming like, help, I'm about to be about to come undone, stuff like that. And so it's just like, we were real women getting real results, putting the work in, putting the time in, creating friendships, creating a love, creating, those things for people to be a part of. And it still stays. It was our goal to know everybody's name when they came in. People could not believe we remembered their name. Yeah. So let's say you came for the first time. I was like, oh, what's your name? And Laura, watch you check in. Oh, Malia. The next time you come and say, hi, Malia, I would remember. That was our goal, is to make sure we knew people, make them feel special, not call them out and make them feel dumb like I'd heard other people were doing. Oh, you're not doing it right. My thing is, you want to run in place for an hour with us? Come run in place. You want an airbox? Come an airbox. It didn't matter. Just move. Just give us an hour of your time. Our goal was to show you results because you were giving us an hour of your time and have fun. And we created a safe space. And I've only had to ask 3 people to leave out of all the years I've taught.
That's crazy.
because we kept a safe space for people with no judgment, and they kept returning and bringing more and more and more and more people with them.
That's awesome. So you kind of touched a little bit about the welcoming space. So tell us a little bit about how it's a welcome space no matter what your dance background is.
Well, people, when I talk to them or they know me through the community, or let's say I'm on vacation or somewhere and dancing because the music's playing, the number one thing I hear is, oh, I can't dance. Oh, I've got 2 left feet. Oh, I'm too shy. It's like, and I look at them, I said, I hear you, but I've heard all that before. Just come. Trust me, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really taking the time to care and break things down so people can get it, because it's such a great feeling to feel like, I got it. It's like, there's that little kid in us. When you get it or you did it, it's like, it's the same thing with adults. When you can get something, and it's just like helping people, again, achieve that confidence in getting something. And hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does. So what is your current Shake It class schedule?
My current Shake It class schedule is going to be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We've got all 3 are evening classes, so Tuesday is 6:45 p.m., Wednesday is 6:45 p.m., and Thursday is 5:15 p.m.
Awesome. And remember, it's at the Hive.
It is at the Hive. It is a gym.
So what type of music do you play, and how does it add to the vibe that you bring to Shake It?
Well, I think a lot of the music's like, so when Zumba came out, Zumba would put out their own music, their own choreography, and a lot of people would use that. And that was awesome, to have a big corporation do that. So you really didn't have to put a lot of time or go find music. My sister and I wanted to be different. We wanted to be where you showed up at our place and it was unique to who we are and where we were. And we like hip hop. We like Latin. We love all that stuff. Reggaetons, salsa. Not salsa chips and salsa, but salsa.
We like that
and,
too.
I like that too. My daddy makes a good salsa. But anyways, and just a combination music, stuff that's popular, stuff that's, just anything that had a beat that you can just, that lights you up, that makes you feel good. And so that's the type of music we like. And we choreographed our own stuff. I still to this day choreograph my own stuff.
Yeah.
I don't pull it from anywhere else. I know you, of course, that I know that we know. We do work on choreography together. My sister and I don't choreograph together. There's times she'll pop in, it's been a while, but she'll pop in and say, I've got a song. It's like, okay. But we're sitting in the car choreographing. We're sitting in the front yard.
On the porch.
On the healing porch, choreographing. We come up with our own stuff, but I want it unique to hear it.
Oh, yeah. And it's, it's all different types of music. It's not just Latin. It's not just hip hop. It's not, we have some rock. We have some funk. We have some country. It's,
we have some yeehaw.
Save a horse, ride a cow.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a favorite.
It is. So let's talk about Shake It in the community, right? Okay. Why is it so important that you include everyone?
I think that's naturally a core of who I am. Like, I'm someone who doesn't like to leave people out. Of course, I can't get everybody. I can't reach everybody. But the more people I can reach, the better. And I think I wanted to create a space to where people just felt welcomed. They felt like they can be a part of something bigger than themselves. They can be somewhere they felt comfortable, where they can grow, where they could be silly and funny. And people are like, oh, I don't know why I did that. I usually don't do that in public. Or, oh, I don't know why. That's so weird. I've never done that before. I'm like, because you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so it was our thing to take that out to the community, be a part of the community, and invite people to, like, we literally traveled with an entourage. Yeah. Anytime we're a part of something, we have never shown up, or I have never shown up alone ever. Yeah. We usually have an entourage, security, whatever.
Okay.
Maybe some security, but community is huge.
Yeah.
And, people need friends. People need people. We're
Absolutely.
not meant to be here alone. And it's when you have a tribe who really cares, who's really rooting for you. And to watch the girls who come into my class, to the newest person, or to someone who's just gone through something or been sick, or maybe they've been missing for a little bit, or maybe they've had some trials, to, like, they actually care. They
Yeah.
genuinely care. And to see them hug and the camaraderie and the love that they develop for each other, all unique, all different age, different size, different everything, like, and just to watch them like come together. Everybody needs that.
Yeah.
We need that in our lives.
Yeah. So not only have you done your own Shake It classes here at the Hive, you also have brought Shake It to recovery centers, senior living, mental health facilities. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I came back out of retirement, we definitely took a different spin on it. I had been through some things, and through some of the things I had been through, I had become support to somebody close to me who was going through recovery. And I never knew that world existed. I knew nothing about it, but I was able to see, like, there's healing through movement. And I know none of the recovery groups did dancing. They did yoga, they did baseball, they hiked, but I was like, no one was doing dancing. So fast forward a little while later, and I came back out of retirement, this person actually said, what do you think about the recovery group? So you should do that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. And so I started calling the people that I had developed a friendship with, a relationship, who were in charge of the facilities. I said, look, I don't know if this would make sense. I don't know if this would work, but would you be interested in bringing the group to heal through dancing? And they said, absolutely. And the one yes turned into 2 yeses, to 3, to 4, to being a huge part of the recovery group, to being part of recovery days.
Wow.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through recovery, drug, alcohol, coming to my class, dancing. And to watch them, I've had some break down and say, I never knew I loved this so much. Or I remember when I was 12 and I did this. Or this was the high I looked for, down dark alleys that no one should go down.
Yeah.
And it would make me like literally bust into tears, because it was like we were giving them that. We were giving them that self-confidence and that endorphin release and feeling like somebody. And or they would say, I usually don't drink unless or dance unless I've drank, or unless I'm this. And like, I've never done this. This is freaking awesome. And it just became, it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, beautiful to literally watch people grow in front of your eyes. It is unreal. I can't even explain it unless you see it yourself. It is amazing. And so I took it to recovery groups for 4 years. Still working with a few right now. And then went to senior living. I mean, who doesn't love to dance? And so we'd take it and we'd put a spin and do some Elvis and do all the fun stuff, because everybody needs to move. It's so therapeutic. It's so healing. It's fun. It puts you in a good mood. And to watch even the older people, people really don't change as you get older. We can still be sassy, still have attitudes, still don't want to participate. And to watch these people, I don't want to like shaking their hands in the air and their derriere, like really getting it. It's just, I can't even explain. I can't even explain it. Just an amazing, amazing thing to watch, and being part of, putting on their dance socials and it was just unreal. Unreal, to just so cute, so fun, and just so inspiring, to watch.
And something you always say is, when you come to my class, you won't leave the same way you came in.
Yeah, I've tried to be mad. I'm human, right? I mean, unless I'm a robot, but like, and we have bad days. We have things that hurt us and make us mad, or, and I've come fired up. I mean, like, I'm going to take my hoops off, fired up. And even though I didn't want to come, and I wanted to recluse, and I wanted to go hide in my room and be miserable or whatever, I showed up.
Yeah.
And I could not leave mad, because the music and the friends and the endorphins and moving your body and moving it through and out of you. I would come pissed and leave arm in arm with my friends, laughing, and I was like, gosh, dang it. I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that. Why was I trying to take that from myself? And so
Exactly.
you cannot walk in and leave the same way you came in. And a lot of people have come in really in not good spaces, and they leave. I needed that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, girl, I'm just standing up here dancing. I mean, I'm just here
I don't know
to
what
play.
you're doing,
I
but
don't know
this is what I'm
I mean.
doing.
Yeah, whatever.
So, You also offer private events. So, like the bachelorette party that you mentioned earlier. What are some other private events that you offer, and how can those who want to schedule a private event get in touch with you?
Well, I've done a lot of private events. I mean, not like that, but I mean, I did private events where I've done block parties where they had the drone going flying over. It was amazing. I've done weddings. I've done, like I said, bachelorette parties. I've done, let's see what else I've done. Like, you know, the Cinco de Mayo stuff. I've done quinceañeras. I've done so many different things, or just private events for, I remember one time Target wanted a hype girl. So I showed up at Target and literally was their hype person. We did 15 minutes of class to get them awake and ready for their shift. And you just contact me, just message me, just get a hold of me. And, you know, I do, you know, charge, of course. It is a business. And it's fair, you know, it's reasonable. And, you know, Christmas parties, things like that. And we'll shake it up.
Yeah, we will. Okay. So we got to know a little bit about Shake It. So let's learn a little bit about Shelley. About the shell part of Shake It Shell.
Shelley.
So tell us a little bit about you and, you know, your 4 kids, your 1 granddaughter, and the one that's on the way that my brother, won't disclose the gender of.
He's not going to disclose it. But anyways, so I'm Shelley. I am born and raised in Southern California. I've actually lived in Utah longer than I have in California. I started really young with my kids, married and pregnant in high school, 18 years old. So you actually graduated twice. Once
Hey.
I was 6 months pregnant when I graduated.
Not a lot of people could say that.
Yeah, not a lot of people can say that. So, but I love dancing. I love music. I used to sing. Because, like I said, I grew up with parents who played guitar and sang and pianos, and I actually gave up my singing for my dancing legs. I was like Little Mermaid, like Ariel, because when I moved to Utah, I was like, everybody sings, everybody's theatrical, and everybody's this, and I'm more soul, I'm more gospel, I'm more bluesy, and so I sat back and tucked myself really quiet, and I started dancing. But I have a deep love for singing. I have a deep love. I love karaoke. I used to be the karaoke queen. I would take my siblings to Shakey's Pizza down in Southern, and the winner got free pizza. Like they got the Mojo potatoes, drink, and you better dang believe I won that every week because I was feeding them kids because they just wanted to come hang out. But I mean, I love the beach. I mean, I love the ocean. I love, I love my favorite color is red. I love lipstick. I love, I love my friends. I love my kids. I love watching my kids make friends and accomplish things and grow into beautiful, beautiful people and watch them do the things they love and do the things they're passionate about. And with me, what you see is what you get. You don't go home and see a different person. I might get a little more mad, but
a little more crazy,
maybe,
actually.
But I am who I am, and I take deep pride in that. But like I said, I love music, and I love dancing, and I love singing, and I love, I said, there's not a lot of things I don't like. And I'm a go-getter. I'm a hustler. If there's something I want, I'm going to go get it. It's just, no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, so how does your family inspire you or support you?
I think the biggest thing is they show up. Even when we started our career, my parents were always there. Our first event was we always did theme nights, and because we love to dress up. It's like, hey, people like to dress up, people like parties, so we started doing theme nights, and our first one was pirates, and it was when Pirate Island Pizza was here, and we all dressed as pirates. And my brother and his friends were security. My parents were there. My kids were there. Every event I do or have done, my family is there. My kids are there. You help me with my social media, with designing my shirts. Shake it. You know you want to dance.
I did a great design.
You did. And everyone always says, is that you? I'm like,
it can be.
It can be. Let me do my hair like that. But I think just showing up and encouraging me, great job, Mom. And even, my daughters are my other daughters, how do I listen to it? How do I just supportive? And, but I think they see the passion, and passion is energy. What lights you up, what makes you happy. And if that's all I can teach my kids is to have a passion for something and an energy, put your energy towards what makes you happy, then that's great. But they're at everything.
Yeah.
Anytime I need anything, my kids are there. They're my ride or die. My kids are my squad. I was actually gonna get squad tattooed across my neck.
Okay. That's the first time hearing of that, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, squad.
I was like,
They're messed up
I
and
thought
say
of the-
squid. I'm like, what the? I meant squad, not squid, but whatever.
oh my gosh. Okay. So,
Wait, one more thing I want to add.
Oh,
One big
okay.
thing about me, I love laughing. I love funny people. Like, I love to laugh, and I'm really, really loud too. One major thing about me, though, I love to laugh.
yeah,
I love to be happy.
I think
And it's real, and it's authentic, and it's genuine. I would say that's the biggest thing about me.
I think all of us kids have a really good sense of humor,
Yeah, it's kind of sick.
and we're all different types of funny.
Yeah,
But like we're all way off,
way off. Missing
that's
some
'cause of you.
bolts. Yeah.
missing
It
some
is
ball.
true. Bolts.
Oh, balls.
You're missing bolts. Not
Okay.
Go ahead now.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and go over what's next. What's next for Shake It? What future plans do you have for Shake It, and where do you see Shake It going?
That's a lot of questions. Let's start with the first one again. Go ahead. Sorry, I was drinking water. I was drinking.
What's
my
next
hustle
for
juice.
Shake It?
Well, if I'm honest, I've kind of let it simmer a little bit, and I think I feel really deeply about growing it again. I feel really deeply. Again, I've regrown it a few times, and it's pretty awesome when you set your mind to something, what you can accomplish.
Yeah.
And put in the work, put in the hustle juice. I mean, I'm drinking my hustle juice like all the time, and just really growing it because I feel there's so many people that need something.
Yeah.
They need us. They want to be a part of something. They want to be in shape. They want to be happy. They want to feel confident in their own skin. And I think that's the biggest thing is that I need to expand again. I need to really open the doors, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
what was the
let's,
next one? Oh, that's just it?
that
Okay.
was pretty much it. Just what do
Oh.
you see in the future for that? So
I see a lot.
I see growth.
I see growth with an F. I
With
see
an F.
I just like I said, I see it. It will never be what it was, and this is the biggest thing that I had to learn. I would speak in past tense. I used to, I did. But I can't get those days back. And like I said, some of them were they were some of the best days of my life where I truly found me, what I love. And it's like those days, all they did was teach me how to be who I am now. They helped me grow into who I am now. And I almost feel like I'm a better version. I'm a more mature. I've been through more. I handle things differently. So I'm still me to the core. I've just had a little more experience. I've been seasoned a little more. And
You're like Shelley 9.0.
why 9?
I don't know.
Okay.
You went through 9 different stages
10.
of life.
Yeah, for real. I'm not a cat. What the heck? 9 lives? Okay.
I didn't think you were going to catch on to that.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
So, in closing up, let's go ahead and find out how listeners or, anybody can get involved or attend classes.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is going to be social media. It's got all of our locations. It's got our time. We got Facebook. We got TikTok. We got Instagram. We've got what else is out there?
Instagram, TikTok,
Oh,
Facebook,
my
YouTube.
website, YouTube. We're on everything, and it's either going to be Shake It Shell or
Shake it dot.
Shake It
Shake
Shake
dot
dot it
dot
dot
shell.
shell.
And I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
throw
it
all
up.
your handles at the end.
Throw it up. Throw it up. Yeah, throw it up there. And I think the biggest thing is just showing up. Sometimes the scariest thing is showing up. Like the biggest, like we stress ourselves out. Like, oh my gosh, I want to, but I'm scared I won't fit in. I'm scared. And we literally do this mind game to ourselves. We literally just like freak ourselves out. And then I'm like, and then they'll finally show up. I'm like, hey, you showed up. And I'm like, was it as bad as you thought? They're like, not even. And so we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
So like, show up. Show up.
Yeah.
Show
Well,
up.
I was going to ask you what advice you give to someone who might be nervous about trying out your class, but looks like you just answered it.
Show up. But you're still going to be nervous. You're still going to be nervous. And the one thing I find a lot of people do is and I don't mean this because we've all done this, is you kind of make excuses for yourself in the fact of, oh, well, I wasn't that good, or oh, I wasn't this, or oh, I'll get it. I said, look, You did awesome. You walked in the door. You stayed the whole class. You actually participated. You just improvised where you could. You did great. And it's really easy to downplay what should really be praised, if you will. Like, you know, like you did great. The fact you walked in is huge.
Yeah.
That's the biggest step, is the first one.
Yeah.
So
Walking through those doors.
walk in.
And then the other doors. And then the last door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the right, to the left, to the left. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for meeting with me today, Shelley. I know you have a busy schedule.
It's really weird you calling me Shelley, but
I
yeah,
know.
I do. I teach tonight at 6:45. It's Tuesday, so we've got class tonight at 6:45. So, but you're welcome. Anytime I can share my story, anytime I can encourage anybody, and that's why like we've gotten huge at putting videos on social media. I've had so many friends, like when I go places, like, oh my gosh, I love your videos. But what's funny is I've had one friend, she says, if there's a lot of views on your videos, it's me rewatching them so I can learn the moves and work on my hips. And I'm like, I love that. If that helps you feel a little more comfortable, see some of the moves we do, if that eases your mind, that's what it's for.
Well, thank you for being my first podcast interviewee.
You're welcome. I love you.
So,
I support you.
I love you too, Mom. So thanks for telling everyone your story, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see ya.